Ladies and Germans, how are you all doing? This is Con Ulrich.
This is Ringru, low.
And folks, today on Sianno, of course, giving you some more monthly tourney action. It's what we do here. It's what we love to do. But Ryan, who do we have fighting today, and what did they bring you to the field?
Left-hand side in the blue, we have Homer playing the 122nd Infantrie Division, which is technically kind of a finished division, so that's why they're included. Maverick income. Right-hand side in the red, we have CreamyBiggums playing the 6th Airborne Division with Maverick income.
I'm not going to keep a straight face every single time we say CreamyBiggums.
One of the best usernames we've probably seen in like a while, so thank you for blessing us with it.
Exactly. It's got me saying "dope" the entire time, and not just because Homer's fighting here. But the Red Devils are on the field, and we're going to see the Lotties over here starting to engage those Ox and Bucks, the air landing troops. We've talked about the 6th landing. We've talked about the 122nd. It's still fun to see these guys anyway. Lots of infantry. Lots of infantry.
It's been a while since we've seen like 6 Airborne, and always
True.
a very fun division to watch as you just got, all the airborne stuff, and I have, of course, a little bit of national bias for them as well. But we're seeing in the center here, like, this is a very effective and deadly push from Homer. He's leading the charge of all the flamethrowers, and there's probably not enough paratroopers to hold the point.
No, and I might be wrong here, but I'm pretty sure oxen don't really like getting flamed either.
No.
The whole barbecue thing that kind of goes on.
Isn't that more to his own troops? Oh no!
It's I think some of the our first kills of the day. but
He killed his own push.
Oh, mortar shells cost money. The dead cost nothing. But you gotta love this. Like this is that scene in every single war movie where the Allied troops are getting forced back by the victorious, attacking hordes of Axis, just marching down the street, and there's a brave little Tetrarch that's gonna hold them up for half a second, and then he's gonna get nuked by an AT satchel.
He's very dead now.
It's so cool. It's just that moment right there.
No, very effective push, because usually pushing out, very narrow down can be a huge pain in the ass, because it's pretty easy to defend. But Homer came in, speed, violence, and momentum, just went right down through and caught him off guard. And I think Creamy, he's gearing up for more of an orphan push now, as he's going to be landing in with the air landing.
Well, the kind of fascinating thing here, too, is that there wasn't a whole lot of people who can actually even see the first line. Of course, the IG-33 says differently. But had that Pack 43 been just a little bit further south, like literally 50 meters, that entire push would be dead.
Yeah, holy Jesus Christ. Right, is that the IG?
That's the IG-33, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Good.
That was supposed to be six squads.
Yeah, now it's only 2. So the sum going to do is probably going to have a pretty easy time holding that town now.
And 5 more going to the south. As watch this next thing here. So this turns into, 30 Corps going through the bridge too far. The first truck's coming forward, getting shot up. Next truck coming forward, getting shot up. Third truck coming forward. You're sensing a pattern here.
Oh wow, yeah, this is really not looking good for Creamy. He's taken some pretty damn big losses, and he's learned to unload his troops probably a little bit sooner rather than later.
The Tempest, though, this is the right call. Okay, your guys are getting absolutely owned right now. Drop 250 kilograms of bombs on them. Good call.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he's going to go down.
I think he might be faster than the Vakarov.
Wow, get fucked.
Yeah.
You're right. Interesting. Stovepipe, in the meantime, going to start to engage. Looking all the way down south, we do have that Maxim 1910 and the rinky-dink kind of AT guns. But this is, wow, even taking 60% losses, 70, maybe even 70 or 80% losses, the air landing troops are still attacking.
Yeah, they definitely have a little bit of balls here. And they're actually trading somewhat efficiently here. Homer's taken some decent casualties in his frontline troops, so if he was, or CreamyBiggums bring in another, platoon of air landing troops, and half of them can make it on through this time, he might be able to get a foothold back into that town.
That's entirely possible, but let's not discount the fact that the Sturm Pioneers are actually ridiculously good if you get anywhere close to them. Oh boy. So 2 of them right there are 2 Iron Crosses just kind of hanging on out. Looking back to the northern side, we are going to have another attempt at Tetrarch moving on in, but the group is going to engage, and this guy is going to get absolutely crumped, I think, without too much more fanfare.
Yeah, this is really a perfect map here for 122nd. The big 88mm AT gun was designed to fight over this northern sector. It's this large open field. You got the high ground draw. In this case, he's decided to bring it off the hill here, but he can pretty easily just zone out, especially against 6 Airborne. He doesn't have a whole lot of ground-based HE lobbing machines. They much prefer to do that from the air. It's a bit more civilized.
Yeah, which is a weird thing to call it civilized, but regardless, I mean, however you kill your enemies, up to you, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
But it is 12-12. Though I think this northern crossroads is going to go over here to Homer whenever he decides to shift his Strumgren idea just a little further down.
Yeah, he just needs to take a little bit of a walk down south, and he could pretty easily just shut that down. But yeah, it's still 12-12. Honestly, kind of surprised considering just how well Homer's been trading. He hasn't been able to really get that all-important flag advantage, which is kind of what you need to win these matches.
I think the reason for that, though, is... Tetrarch goes down. I think the reason for that, though, is he just wants to make sure he has a nice base of fire. Like, if we have 4 more squads of air landing troops being brought on in, they're going to get off over here on the north side of that ridge, on the up top on that ridge. But the Krupp can technically engage them with a little bit sooner than to engage, and the IG-33 can engage the air landing troops over here in the town. So, yeah, they're going to get out, sort of, but what's going to be left for them?
Yeah, the problem up north is not so much bringing in more infantry, it's bringing in fire support, because he can rook air landing troops into that town, but he needs something to back him up, and he does realize that, and is bringing in 75mm howitzers. Not exactly the biggest kaboom, but you don't have many options for 6 Airborne.
No, you don't. No, you don't. And actually, we see Pack Howie's really down south trying to engage and shutting down this push a little bit. There's a one brave half squad of air landing troops who's going to run afoul of this Stuk 4 here pretty darn soon. Well, right now, in fact. And even these Juntas, the Finnish troops that we have down here are going to get probably murked. What's left? There's very little left down here.
Yeah, it's a pretty good, mirror, or counter to what we saw on Tuesday's game, where the German player couldn't play effectively at CQC, and they continued playing CQC. In this case, Homer is definitely playing to the advantage of his division, holding the right open spaces, using those long-range, high-explosive lobbers, using some indirect 150 mils now. As you can see, it's just working absolute dividends for him.
It absolutely is. He can call in another one of those and 2 more in B. We'll be actually getting that pretty darn quickly here. Pack Howies, in the meantime, are going to be engaging. They're looking for the Pack 43, and they'll get it. That's not going to be too much of an issue there. The question is, what happens in the other direction? Like, what do the Germans bring back out? The Germans and Finns. Well, wait, the other 150 is... Oh, no, he's engaging down south as well.
Yep.
Okay.
And then in the artillery duels, the 150 should pretty clearly win those engagements. Because the 75mm does have a maximum range of 8.7 kilometers. So he won't be in range to counter battery, I believe.
I don't think so.
Or maybe just... Yeah, it's going to be tight.
Well, let's take a rough look here for a second, right? So, one...
I think it's barely in range, actually, but still it's long range.
Yeah, and their accuracy over a great distance really drops off quite significantly. Ooh, a Centaur's coming to the field. So we're going to see some rinky-dink anti-infantry kind of engagements. I do want to kind of keep an eye on that Krupp. And I think the reason for that is actually we're starting to see the 75 mils start walking further south. I get the feeling they're going to desperately trying to start engage these these on-map, but so far back they might as well be off-map positions. I don't know. Maybe we're seeing a potential flank here to the southern border. I think we're going to see another attack over here on Biggums to the south.
Yeah, southern push would definitely be a good pull here, or a good push here. There's a little bit more close quarters. You can use your infantry a bit more effectively, and that's a good way of pushing down south, hook your way up north. You can try to cut off the town here, which is usually a pretty good call. It's just once again fire support. In A phase, it's been pretty bad. B phase, you do start getting some Cromwell tanks, which are very cost efficient. But yeah, it's going to be about just leveraging enough high explosives, because just in general, there's not a whole lot here.
I mean, just in general, it doesn't really seem to be a whole lot that needs to happen away from Homer's side either. He's just kind of chilling for the moment, which I completely understand.
Mm-hmm. He's just set up that defensive line, and it is big and beefy. We're all seeing 75 mils up north, counter battery the pack group. Yeah, if he can knock out that pack group in the IG-33, he does have a pretty good basis to try to get a foothold back into the town. Those two Tetrarchs up north, where is he?
I think they're moving down.
Okay, he's just setting them up on the hill. Oh, in the center up north, getting a little bit of blapjaw from the Stug. Definitely a good idea to pull that thing back. I think Creamy, he doesn't have a whole lot on the actual battlefield. And that's because it seems to be investing a lot in these aircraft. So it's going to be very vital for him to actually start getting some kills.
And unfortunately for him, the Flak Veerling over here, the 122nd actually has really, really good anti-air net.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a ton of space for them, but the Flak Veerling does a lot of suppression damage. You also have, in this particular case, the SDKF said 7-1s. And Typhoon doesn't go down, but he does go away trailing a lot of smoke. And think about his life choices. And here's this. Actually, look down south. We have a wonderful little push over here. Battery Fjord to kind of give some artillery support. And then a lot of Finnish infantry thrown to the front. This is going to go pretty well, I would think.
Yeah, and in the trees as well, which is a natural habitat here. We got some Belgians being thrown on in to try to defend this point. But yeah, very effective push. Lovely use of smoke here. Only one AB power is in position to try and stop this, but yeah, the Finns will be able to go through and clear that out.
And even more terrifyingly, they are armed with a Piat, which means that they're more in danger for themselves than the other.
Might misfire.
Exactly. Well, and with all of those lovely, lovely Molotovs, and actually they're falling back right into that mortar shell too. Yikes.
Oh. Yeah, we're seeing a lot of artillery now from the airborne player. A lot of 75mm howitzers. I do like this because he does lack a lot of direct fire, high explosive fire support. So this is really his best bet. He is starting to build up a basis of high explosives in the air as well. It's just going to be about, 3 minutes into B phase, another 7 minutes left. Will he have enough time to make a good counterattack somewhere?
Well, the issue here, too, is that they're going to do Voltigeurs are being pushed on in, and they're getting, just again, they come to their trucks
unload,
and they're getting hammered.
There's a Cromwell here at least, but the Stug's in a perfect position down the road. Think he doesn't see the Cromwell. Okay, he does. It's a tight line of sight.
There's a tight line of sight, but even if the Stoke goes down, that's fine. If he takes out the Cromwell, that's fine. The 57 goes down. Yeah, even if the Finns go down here, they're doing exactly what they need to, which is just continue to bleed the 6th Airborne.
Yeah. He really needs to get, the AT Typhoon on that Stug, because this is completely stopping his little counterattack. I do like how he's flanking from the southern end with Yoks and Bucks, especially after pinning down the infantry. But, Focke-Wulf strike. Fantastic hit.
Well, that's part of it, and he does actually have the Typhoon anti-tank. Unfortunately for him, it's been unable to get, like you see right here, it's been able to get its rockets away.
Yep. Yes, 2 flak villains on the field, so that's a pretty good deterrent. So I was saying one does actually get shot down.
I'm trying to see where the next rounds are falling. Okay, so the artillery continues to try to counter battery the 6th Airborne. So we're going to see the 150s going to those northern howitzers. And one thing I will say I really, really enjoy from CreamyBiggums is that he's trying to consistently recite his artillery after he fires it for several rounds. I'm not sure if he's going to get lucky in this case, though. This could be very, very unlucky if the shells impact. And I think we're actually going to see that here.
It'd probably be a little bit better micro-rise if he was to load them back. It is annoying to do, but load them back in the Jeeps and then move him. I see what he's doing. He's just kind of selecting them all and then relocating them to a new position here. But it should be enough still to get out of the way of those deadly 150s.
Hey, you know what? We see it rarely enough in the first place. I am totally fine with it. 122nd is actually bringing a ridiculous amount of air power in themselves. BF-109 actually trying to get some eyes on Focke-Wulf coming in. Tempest's going to try to take a deflection shot, but his pack howitzer doesn't get killed, shockingly enough.
Well, barely manages to survive, and we've got a bit of a furball here. Focke-Wulfs and BFs going down all over the place. Tempest trying to get an angle on one of his aircraft, but they're pretty tough to deal with.
True. Very, very true. But even if the Polston starts to engage, that's all well and good. I'll just start to counter battery your anti-air too. That's fine with me.
We're seeing down south as well, Homer's continuing to make the push as well, just throwing in more of those cheap, effective Finnish infantry into the front line. Yeah, for 20 points, I'm not going to try to pronounce the name. They are a very bloody good squad. SVTs, Molotovs, the machine gun is, they could probably leave that at home. But good for throwing on the front line.
And to kind of levy them a little bit here of just some Sturmgrenadiers, the Sturmgrenadiers are going to cut to pieces by the Cromwell and the AV pairs running across. But that's fine. That's fine. Shockingly enough, even pinned down. Oh no, 6 more squads of Grenadier Voltigeurs being brought on in, and bombs taking out the Paras. Okay, so the Grenadier Voltigeurs are being brought on the southern road, so that might give them a chance to get in. And the Focke-Wulf goes down, Tripolson claiming the kill there.
Yeah. And we're seeing the the on-map artillery pound an array, but the problem is only 75 mils, so it does take them quite a bit of time to get those all-important stunning hits. And the Cromwell, yeah, holding the line, but in a direct firefight against Stug, not gonna... Oh! That's something at least.
Lucky crits, yep. When you get Crit City, you're very, very lucky on that one. Unfortunately for him, a crit is not a kill, and that's what happens when you bring a Cromwell to a Stug fight. Grenadier Voltigeurs being brought on in, actually Sturm Grenadiers in the northern forest, the northern southern forest. And you just see the absolute deadliness of just all those freaking MP-44s.
Yeah. It's a lot of close range firepower here. Grenadiers being brought on in, but 150 has them sighted in as they come in as reinforcements. A very good hitch. Honestly, Creamy, he needs to start getting some 17-pounders down south. He does have effective ground-based AT. I mean, it's not mobile, which sucks, of course, but he needs to deal with that Stug, otherwise his push down here is just going to falter.
Well, and he's going to get a little bit of immediate kind of support, and I think it's just because the 150 is actually not actively trying to kill him. It's trying to kill the 20 mil a little bit further back, which I understand too. My air power, I think, is an underutilized resource for a lot of 122nd players. They don't really look at that as being a major wing of their army. They think, okay, it's an infantry division. Let's play them like an infantry division.
We're seeing more... Actually, yeah, another contingent of infantry being brought from Homer into the town. Seems he's going to try to do a central push here. And that's going to work really well, because there's bloody nothing in the center.
I'm just watching the Finns and the Sturmgrenadiers fight back the AV Paras coming into there. They're going to lose. But you can bet damn well sure that those guys are going to remember them. Just all the amount of you just watch the numbers start to crumple over here on all those Grenadiers, and it's rough. It's really, really rough to be in the 6th Airborne right now.
Oh, the Focke-Wulf coming in. Big clump of infantry, you know the drill. Not as deadly as I was expecting, but still managing to slow down some of that infantry.
Well, and here's the other thing, too. The IG-33, if that gets eyes on, that's a problem.
Oh, yeah. Oh. That is a sneaky spot. And it seems he's just doing some fire position onto that village for whatever reason.
There was previously, if you actually look closely, you'll see the Meat Bolia base that used to be a squad.
Oh yeah.
But I'm also fascinated by this 381 that's here. Because if it gets seen, it's going to get completely and totally murked from the windows. Well, now it's going to know they're there, and that's kind of equally important. Focke-Wulfs, there's 2 more Tripolsons that are just kind of sitting there. This is such a shame. Ugh.
Oh, wow.
Save that.
Rip indeed. And then the Focke-Wulf's coming in. Does manage to unload, but it's a little bit late.
Well, and the 381's starting to kind of engage on the map. Quick TOT barrage. does do, of course, that crazy, crazy kind of suppression and damage, but they still got to hit.
Yeah.
And one of the fuck wolves, will they die? I think they're going to get away.
They are. And that Homer's push down south has just worked extremely effectively here. He's been just trading very well. I think the main problem here for Creamy is he's been trying to play a little bit too much. It's hard with 6 Airborne, because you can't really play as like a straight-up infantry division, especially against a very powerful one, like 122nd here. And he just hasn't been able to really leverage your air power, which is really the most key part of 6 Airborne.
The triple pulse should take out this fuck wolf. That's 6 barrels of 20 mil HE, but no, he limps out of there as well. Jeez.
Yeah. Yeah, you really just use the tripotions more for, just deterring the aircraft. You really need to use those Tempests to finish them off.
The 75s, in the meantime, all engaging that kind of original push. And I understand that. I think it's one of those kind of fury things. It's like, you know what? I'm just pissed right now. I must just do this and kill. See what goes on.
Yeah. The continual of the artillery barrages here. Honestly, Khan, we can probably take his 2 times 2.
Alright, I'm feeling. How about 28, 25?
Yep, sounds good. Because it's clearly I think CreamyBiggums is a bit more of a newer player, so to speak, to some of the micro mishaps he's made. But I think it's a good example of just with 6 Airborne, kind of what not to do. Like especially just some of the micro mishaps with unloading infantry in time, you really need to find like a good place early on where you can force a CQC engagement and not have to fight head on against Stugs and 88mm guns, because they will just shred you.
That's true, and I'm certainly looking forward to a time when CreamyBiggums becomes a little crispier, as some seasoning happens. He gets left in the oven a little bit longer. Looking forward to that time. Actually, I really, really appreciated all of the artillery that was brought to the field on this one. I think the concentration of fire was a very, very interesting idea. I just think, unfortunately, they misidentified maybe some of the axes of approach. We see this happening right here. Fuck wolves are all going for the artillery, so here it comes. Even if he takes out even a couple of supply jeeps, that's still going to be pretty hideous.
Oh, wow.
Wow,
not
lucky.
Not much.
Because they rotated. There we go. If there was a single scout, that might have been it.
These Tempests have been having a pretty hard time, like, actually getting some aerial kills here. As they keep getting round up in turn fight, so to speak, especially against Focke-Wulfs. They're a pretty good match.
Yeah, their agility is pretty strong, yeah.
Yeah. Will Tempest get behind?
He should.
No? Oh, he calls it off. That was a mistake.
Clearly, I think we have a German working for the other side here.
Yeah.
Storm Grenadiers in Northern Town. These guys have been just chilling for a long time. These air landing troops, I think, are the survivors from that ill-fated push. I think at this point, Homer's just kind of saying, you know what, dude? I have my piece of patch, you have yours, and those, artillery shells start laying in the top, and we get a tap from that.
Yeah, and the KD really does speak volumes, yeah.
It does.
Well, connect kills, nothing really all that fancy. I also think it's just, bring it back to the match, just that initial push from Homer, like, getting right through the center, very effective, really put Creamy on the back foot.
Yeah, and if you look, actually, there's the IG-33s. These guys, I think, we talked about them just in passing, but very much, I think, the heroes of this match. Why do I say that? Because the initial kind of pushes that we saw were shut down very, very easily, and more or less, I think, without too much Sturmentering, or perhaps the right amount of it, to just see, how would you call it, maybe 150 points just getting obliterated within 30 seconds of each other?
Yeah.
So, lots of kills, really, really well sighted, I think, on those. And unfortunately, I think that's put the 6th Airborne in a hole they couldn't climb out of. So,
yeah, they're just engaging in favorable terrain for Homer, which is long range with high explosives, definitely worked quite well. And a bit more of a CQC map, like Orson Hall, for example. I think 6 Airborne does work a bit better, but unless you, like I said, you can really leverage, like, air spam, you're just going to lose out in those open maps. Unless you, like, he really sort of used, like, more 17-pounders down south, but even then they can only influence the match so much.
Yeah, I guess just to put a final kind of nail on that too, if you look at the chronology real quick, you'll see from 149 until 330, there's a lot of kills, and none of them, unfortunately, are Axis troops.
Yeah.
So that's
apart from that one Cosmolet, that poor Cosmolet.
Yeah, unfortunately Kilroy was not with him. But other than that, I mean, CreamyBiggums, honestly, I'm looking forward to more from him. Homer, well played today. Definitely use the 122nd here to a good effect. But until next time, do you have any other things here, sir?
No.
Folks, in that case, then it's time for us to say goodbye. Until next time, I'm Conor Work.
I'm Rangaroo. Take it easy.